Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from our dear sister. She is saying that she is from Mozambique. The message reads like this. Hello my brother, how are you? Can you please post for me my own story? I want to confess that I am a ritualist, but I did all the rituals that I did out of desperation. I really had a very painful life from a very young age. I was born in a poor family. Then when I was at the age of 14 years, that was when I got involved in a forced marriage. I never loved the man whom I got married to, but my parents, they forced me to get married to that man, who was an abusive man. This man, he was way older than I was. Each and every time when he would go out and when he would come back home drunk, he would beat me like no one's business. And I didn't have a choice because I was so young and I didn't even know where to go and report this man. When I started staying with this man as his wife, after I had fallen pregnant for him, I thought that maybe my pregnancy was going to save me. He would feel ashamed of beating up a pregnant woman, but no, he kept on beating me. Even though he knew that I was pregnant. Sometimes what he will do is that as he will be beating me when I would fall down to the ground, then he will start kicking me. So this caused me to hate the baby that I was carrying. And after I had given birth to my baby, I struggled so much. I failed to have that mother and baby bond because I kept on blaming myself and I kept on blaming the man who had given me this baby. And as if God had decided to curse me. After I had given birth to that baby, I then realized that I had given birth to a baby that had a severe disability. And it was so painful for me to accept that I had given birth to a baby with a severe disability. Even by the time when I wanted to become a ritualist, when I was told that I had to sacrifice this baby of mine that had a severe disability, I never thought twice about it. I just decided to sacrifice my baby because there was no bond between me and my baby because of the abuse that I had suffered at the hands of my ex-husband. So after I had given birth to my baby, the pain was just too much and I hated my baby's father. I would struggle even sometimes to breastfeed my baby because as I'll be looking at my baby when I'll be breastfeeding it, it just made my life to be more difficult. I kept on telling God that, dear God, this baby that you have given me, I do not even want this baby, but I didn't even know where to go and dump this baby. So what I used to do is that whenever I'll be home alone, when my husband will not be at home, I will just leave the baby to cry, thinking that if the baby would cry, it will starve to death, refusing to breastfeed the baby. Then it happened that my husband just suddenly came back home after I had left this baby to cry for hours and hours. When he walked into the house where we were staying, he asked me why I was not breastfeeding the baby. And after I had answered him that I cannot do it anymore, I can no longer take care of this baby that had a severe disability, he told me that he wanted to kill me and my brother. I ran away. When I ran away, leaving my husband and our baby, I went into this other town and I kept on walking around looking for any kind of work opportunity. I then approached this other woman. This woman, she had a shop that sold Ankara fabrics. In brackets, these fabrics are also called Java prints that are used for sewing African attires. This woman, when I approached her, she asked me who I was and where I was coming from, and then she asked me if I had any parents. I told that woman my story, and after I had told her my story, I started crying when she told me that she didn't want any help in her shop because her last worker had tried stealing from her, so she didn't want any person to assist her in her shop. But when I started crying, she then told me that it was fine, she could hire me. She then asked me if I had anywhere to stay. I told her that I didn't have anyone that I knew in that city. She said, it is fine, you'll be staying with me at my place, but I do not want anyone who is going to try and steal from me. I promised her that I would never steal anything from her, and until the day that she died, I never even attempted even to steal anything from her. So when I started staying with that woman, I noticed a lot of odd behaviors that she used to do. This woman, she was never involved in any single relationship, but what she would do is that late at night after work, she would drive around town looking for those male prostitutes, but all of them, she never brought them back home. It's either she would go with them to the hotel, then they will sleep in the hotel, or they will just do whatever they would do inside her car, just parked somewhere. She said that she didn't want to have any relationships with any man at all. Then the other thing that she used to do, this woman, is that if any customer would walk into her shop, as soon as that customer would have bought any Ankara fabric, the moment that the customer would walk out of the shop, then she used to keep this other bottle. It was quite a small white bottle. She used to keep this white small bottle that had some oil inside of it. This small white bottle was always kept underneath her till. As soon as the customer would have walked out, she would take that small white bottle. Then she will start to rub the oil all over her face. Sometimes she would tell me to do as she was doing. Then sometimes she would give me so that I can also rub the oil all over my face. As she was doing all of these things, I just thought that maybe it was some kind of her prayers so that people can come and buy from her shop. Because the moment that I started working for her, I noticed that she was that kind of a woman that attracted a lot of customers. But when we would be at her house, the moment that we would wake up early in the morning going to work at her shop, what she would do is that she would take me to her car, and when I would be in her car, she would then take an African sweeping broom that she always kept underneath her seat. This African sweeping broom, my brother, from the very first day that I saw her using it until the day that all of her ritual stuff were taken by this other witch doctor that was always assisting her, that broom, my brother, I always saw that the grass that had been used to make that African sweeping broom was always green, as if that African sweeping broom was freshly made each and every day. She used to keep this African sweeping broom just underneath the driver's seat. So what she would do is that when she would make sure that I was now inside her car, she would tell me to stay inside the car. Then she would walk back to her front door, the same door that we would have used when we would be coming out of the house. Then she would start sweeping as if she was erasing our footsteps. The way that she used to sweep, she would sweep facing the opposite direction in which her car was parked. She would sweep until she would have reached where her car would be parked. Then she would drive us to her shop. This thing, my brother, she used to do it on a daily basis, each and every day. If we were going to work in her shop, she used to do it. So my brother, me and this woman, we stayed for many years together. I was more like a daughter now. And as I was staying with her, she then started to get very sick. I thought that maybe she had cancer or something because she started to get so thin. Then she told me that she was suffering from a disease that was not curable. With all the money she had, she said that even if I go to the hospital, no doctor will ever be able to cure me. Then she